Hello my beautiful watchers. Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer, the long-awaited and much delayed retelling of the first Twilight book from Edward's perspective, finally came out this month, so in honour of the occasion I've decided to review every book in the Twilight Saga except Midnight Sun. That's right, 15 years after the fact, the last YouTuber over the finish line is here to bring you his hot take on the series. And yes, choosing to marathon all 4 books sequentially is probably a sign that I hate myself. I am aware that I've kinda sorta utterly screwed myself from a performance perspective. By waiting until the majority of Twilight is a distant thing of the past, I've minimized interest on the subject, and knowing that people love genuine rage videos, it was definitely a mistake to cover 50 Shades of Grey before Twilight, because that almost certainly permanently affected my bar for what I consider rage-worthy. The only advantage I'm actually grateful for regarding having completely missed the hype around this controversial series is the fact that I have completely missed the hype around this controversial series. If you remember my confession in the Eye of Argon video, you'll know that I am not proud of the fact that I'm susceptible to mob mentality, and I know for a fact that the popularity of hating on Twilight during the backlash period would have dictated the tone of my review. Back when this franchise was first getting started, 20-something-year-old Dom was pretty adamant that Twilight was by far the most offensively terrible book to ever exist, and of course, the plot twist is that I hadn't read it. In fact, until now, my only first-hand experience with Twilight was half watching the first movie on DVD at the behest of one of my university flatmates, and if I remember correctly, she had to leave halfway through because I was snarking so much. So yeah, I'm actually a little happy that I was too lazy to jump on the bandwagon when this was more relevant, because I think I've genuinely mellowed enough on the subject now to give it a fair review. Partly through the elapsed time, and partly through, well, tell me, my beautiful watchers, have you ever experienced having a part of your worldview shattered by a single sentence?
And as long as I'm committing heresy, I know I may get blowback for stating what is kind of the obvious to everyone of all stripes, but we, and by we I mean our culture, we kind of hate teenage girls. So it wasn't just that Twilight was popular, it's who Twilight was popular with, teenage girls, and the mothers of teenage girls.
That's not why I was angry at Twilight. Oh, fuck! Yeah, it wasn't a nice thing to realize, especially in a single moment, but in hindsight, I can't deny that despite them never having done anything to wrong me, I definitely hated teen girls and was furious that something for them had dared to get popular. I hope you can forgive 20-something-year-old Dom. He wasn't in a good place, but I'm 30-something now and trying desperately to remain a recovering asshole, and no one gives much of a hoot about Twilight anymore, so I can realistically promise that I will not make these reviews angry just because I think that's expected of me. I'm also going to try to avoid overcorrecting as an act of penance for my past, because that won't do anyone any favors. I can acknowledge that I am not the target demographic without using that to excuse legitimate criticisms of quality that I notice, because doing that implies that said demographic simply has low standards. If I feel genuine anger, I'll show it, and if I think that Twilight isn't as bad as everyone remembers, I will say it. Wish me luck. Hello? Oh, hi friend who I regularly see in person. Why yes, I would love to go to a crowded bar and spend the night without a mask on and regularly touching my face. No, I don't see why that would be a deeply selfish and irresponsible act either. It's 2018!